Good afternoon, my friends, and welcome to the Tony C. Davis Show, coming to you by way of the Raven International Network and the Amazing Women and Men of Power. Again, I am your host, Tony C. Davis, where we share everything from faith, family, fitness, finance, and fun, and anything in between. So if you have some valuable content you'd like to share, reach out to me at thetcdshow@gmail.com. That's thetcdshow@gmail.com, and we can share your valuable content. So stay tuned for this week's show. Hey guys, and welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in today. Listen, I am grateful. I'm blessed to have my good friend, Mr. Joseph B. Washington, on the show today. Now, Joseph has been on my other show before, and again, it is a tremendous blessing to have him on the show today. How you doing, Joseph?
I'm doing good, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. Now, guys, for those of you who don't know Joseph, Joseph is a world-class motivational speaker, coach, mentor, and he also is the author of at least two books, one being Breaking the Spirit of Average, and also Let Average Go. He is also the creator of Running on a Broken Heel, which addresses some of the issues that women face. Joseph is also the creator of Man Code, which actually addresses some of the challenges that men face. And his latest project is Reshape. Now, Joseph, I know you've done a lot, and I may have missed something. So just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what it is you do.
Yeah, well, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on your show. And again, just to give it back to you, an awesome man of God and a writer and a venturist like yourself, man, a health and wellness coach yourself, man. You're out there making it do what it do. Well, I'm Joseph B. Washington. I am the author of the book called Let Average Go. I teach the 7 principles of turning your average into awesome. And so the personal development field is one that I'm very comfortable in. You know, also as a licensed minister as well, I'm also comfortable in that arena as well. But I believe that my calling is to empower people, to stretch them, to try to take them to the next level. And so that's a little bit of what I do. And you mentioned already the Running on the Broken Heel, which is a movement for women to help them repair the broken heels in their lives. And then, of course, we have Man Code Unlocked, which, every man, as you know, Tony, lives by a code. And so we teach them the combination to that code and how to unlock that code. And then, of course, now my new venture at the age of 55, I just decided that it was time for me to get in shape and to reshape my body, my mind, my spirit, my entire life. And so I started this new movement called Reshape. And Reshape stands for Realize Early, Staying Healthy, Always Produces Energy.
Man, it just amazes me how you can just, put all these acronyms together. We talked about that earlier. But before we go into the health and fitness, I want to just talk about, what was it that led you becoming a world-class speaker? We've talked about this before, in your story is, it's just great. Yeah. So just share that with us.
Yeah. Well, as you know, I grew up with a severe speech impediment, man, and I stuttered severely. Up until the time I was about 8 years old, I had a situation where my brother would actually have me come out to the middle of the street. The kids would ask me a series of questions, and of course, I was, start stuttering, and I would hear things like, "Man, your brother's stupid and dumb." I ran into the house at the age of 8 and told my mother that it was true, that I was stupid and I was dumb. And the long story short is that my mother told me to sit down, and here's what she said to me. She said, "Joseph," she said, "you're neither stupid or dumb." She said, "It's just that your brain and your mouth haven't caught each other. We got to get them to catch each other." Wow. And then she said to me, she said, "If you would be willing to participate in your own personal rescue and not play the victim, your mama's going to help you." So for the next 9 years, Tony, she and I went on this roller coaster ride to teach me how to enunciate and articulate. And at the age of 11, she gave me a dictionary, told me to start reading the dictionary. I remember the first word being aardvark, and I would have to use these words in the sentence. My mother was an English major. She was a graduate of Howard University, so she was an amazing educator herself. But she taught me how to enunciate. She taught me how to articulate. She taught me how to read out loud. By the time I was a senior in high school, I was not only speaking, but I was doing extemporaneous and impromptu speeches on my speech debate team. Not of my high school, but as a senior in high school, San Diego State University recruited me to be on their college debate team. I then moved into my adult life. You think I would be this incredible guy, and I wasn't. I was a pretty average dude. But as a result of some other things happening, I got into the speaking field, and I started out by talking to elementary school kids. Then I went from middle school to high school to college, and then, the rest is history. But I started out talking to young people. It's actually my 11-year-old son at the time who encouraged me to do it, because the company I was working for at the time in corporate America was downsizing. They were outsourcing the job that I had, and so I had to come up with something. And I knew that I could talk. I knew that I could encourage people. And so that's pretty much how I got into the personal development speaking field of it. I'd already been speaking in the church as well, but from the personal development side, that's how I got into that as a result of my company downsizing, and I needed to do something.
And it's amazing how your mom, recognized, your talent and your ability, and she was willing to put in the work. And I know she was a strong support system for you. And I know that you lost your mom not too long ago. Just give me a brief idea of how that impacted your life and what you're doing now.
Well, my mother was always my biggest fan, man, from the time I was small. She felt a need to protect me, and she and I always had a phenomenal relationship because my mother had us when she was pretty young. She had my brother when she was 16 and had me when she was 18. Not only was she my mother, but she was, a lot like my sister, my friend, my shero. But we had an incredible relationship, and my mother was a no-nonsense type woman. Also, my mother battled with bipolar, and so she had those issues, because she had a father that wouldn't keep his hands to himself. And that's why I created the entire movement after she passed in a car accident in 2011. I created the Running on the Broken Heel, for women like my mother who had been running on a broken heel but never quite got it fixed. But she was my biggest fan. She was my biggest motivator. In fact, when I wrote my book, Breaking the Spirit of Average, my mother bought the very first copy. And she was at my very first conference, my workshop that I did, right there on the front row. And so that impacted me tremendously, because she always let me know how special I was. She would always let me know that I was different, that I thought different, because a lot of times, growing up with a speech impediment, I played by myself a lot. I was pretty much a loner. But that's where I really created a lot of my creativity, man. And so I think with the acronyms and all that stuff comes easy for me, because when I see words, I see pictures. Wow. And so it's just always an interesting thing to me, words. We talked about this before. When you take the word attitude and you count it numerically in the alphabet, it comes out to 100, right? Like, who would ever have thought that? And so when I see words, of course, I see pictures. And so when I saw Reshape, the first thing come to my mind, I got to create an acronym. And so I created the shape part first. Staying healthy always produces energy. But then when I went from shape to reshape, I had to come up with the RE, and that's how I got to realize early. But my mother was a big fan. She was a big supporter, big encourager, all the way up until the time that she passed. In fact, she lived with me the last 16 years of her life here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I had a tremendous opportunity to spend some time with a phenomenal woman, and I got the best of it.
That's great. That's great. I can empathize with you. I know friends who've lost parents, but they had a great impact, and I do celebrate your mom. So with that being said, and the success you've had with letting average go and running on a broken heel, and while I'm saying this, I would encourage you to revisit that running on a broken heel, because when you did that conference at our church, maybe about 3 years ago, the women couldn't stop talking about it. They really.
That you mentioned that. We're actually rebranding it, getting the logo redone, and it's going to be a brand new movement. In fact, we're going to have a major conference here in 2019 here, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I am going to pick that back up with a fresh start and a different mindset toward it, and so it's going to be pretty exciting.
That's great. So let's talk about what you're doing now, the Reshape, and I know your story, but for somebody that doesn't know, what was it that caused you to actually take a real serious look at your health?
Right. Well, I was over 50, and I said to myself, I'm 50 fat, and I feel bad. Now, I was inspired to do this by a movie by a gentleman named Joe Cross from Australia, and he had a documentary called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. You can actually see it on Netflix. Over 24 million plus people viewed that documentary. But Joe came over from Australia, about 324 pounds. He was on about 35 medications. He had an immune auto disease that would cause his body to break out. So the guy was in pretty bad shape. And so he came here to the United States for 60 days to juice. And so he did green juice for 60 days.
all day, every day. And he ended up losing about 100 pounds off of the medication, autoimmune disease gone. And from that, he was actually able to parlay that into a business. And of course, now he goes across the country sharing with people, the juicing effects, how real it is, how important it is. And so I sort of piggyback off of that. I said, he said fat, thick, and nearly dead, Tony. I said, I'm 50 fat and I feel bad.
Yeah.
So it's over. I got into an accident where a FedEx truck hit me, and I had some brain issues. I had a major concussion. I'm looking at my body. I'm looking at my life. And I'm just going, man, I can't keep going down this road. I feel bad. I'm not at my ultimate health. I don't feel like walking and doing anything. So I decided to go on the 60-day journey to start juicing myself. And, of course, I'm on the 44th day now. As you know, I took that picture with you the day right before I got started. And 44 days later, some amazing, amazing results. So out of that, I came up with the whole concept of reshape. Not only reshaping our bodies, our minds, but our spirit, our lives, reshaping how we eat, reshaping how we interact with people, our relationships. And so I created the brand called Reshape, and then, of course, added that acronym to it, which is Realize Early, Staying Healthy Always Produces Energy. And so it's just been a phenomenal movement. People are following me now and asking, hey, what are you doing? Can you send me the recipes? Yada, yada, yada. So it's pretty exciting, and I look forward to the best is yet to come.
And what's funny, man, is that, a lot of people see you, I see you, and we never realize what some people may be going through. They may be having successes in other areas, but then there are other areas they may not necessarily be so happy with. And so you were pretty candid. I saw a video you did with your son, Joseph Jr., and if I'm not mistaken, you admitted that you had fallen off the wagon, but you got back on. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, I believe in transparency, and I believe in documentation beats conversation. So, again, you and I met, and that day before I started, I took some before pictures, and I went to the doctor, and I got, all my exams. And in fact, 44 days ago, my blood pressure was at 155 over 98.
Wow.
Today, I tell you that it's 119, 118 over 79.
Wow.
Amazing results. But as a result of that, during this 44 days, there was a couple of days, man, where I just quit. I gave up. I said, I can't do this anymore. I need some food.
I'm not laughing at you, man, because I've been there. Believe me.
Yeah.
I've been there.
No, that was just real, man. So I tried to go eat and got sick because, again, my palate has changed. I've been juicing. My system has gotten used to juicing and getting all this fresh stuff into my body. And so I actually messed myself up even more. But that's the reality of what happened. As you know, I was walking 5 miles a day. I was documenting, and I was putting it online. You guys can see how many miles I walked, how many steps I walked, yada, yada, yada. But I had some days in there where I questioned myself. I had some days in there where I was asking myself, is this something I really want to do? Because I enjoy eating. And so to be able to now position myself to have a different eating lifestyle, because I'm not on a diet, because in the word diet is the word die. I'm on a different lifestyle journey as it relates to food, being more responsible about what I put into my body. But it's been, it's been a trial and error. And I've got about 15, 20 more days to go to meet my 60 days. And then from there, we're just going to take it even higher and higher. But, the truth of the matter is, it had its challenges, man. And so I met them.
And I know, again, knowing your story and mine, we have to be stewards of our bodies. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how much fame you have. If you don't have your health, man, you really don't have anything. So I encourage you and I admire you for what you're doing. And I just, thank God that you and I were able to connect. Now, on another note, when we talk about Reshape, with this brand that you're coming out with, you're planning on, I would guess, to do a clothing line.
Yes. So we're going to do, I wanted to have some stuff made in the mall just because I'm impatient while I was getting my new logo made. And so we're actually going to come out with Reshape Apparel. And so I think I just showed you the new logo. We put it online. Everybody's just raving about it. And I let my son, he's just a critic of everything, let him look at it. He loves it. And so we're going to have the Reshape Apparel, man. We're going to have sweats and hoodies and caps and, skull caps and water bottles and things of that nature as it relates to the apparel side of it. Because as you know, too, I started And so we're teaching people how to juice. We're teaching them the regimens, the protocols, things that they can use for different types of things that they have, whether it's hypo or hyperthyroid, if it's other types of, diabetes or whatever it may have, whatever they may have. There are juices that you can put together that can really fight against those things. Because once you get the toxins out your body and you get the mucus out your body, then your body begins to reshape. But yeah, we're going to do the apparel, man, and we're super, super excited about that. In fact, we've got 3 people already made an order, and we don't even have stuff made.
That's a good place to be, man.
That's a good place to be. It's 3 and counting. And as I told somebody earlier today, I'm not trying to be the biggest athletic apparel company in the world, but I want to be the best.
Want to get you a piece of the pie.
I want to get my 1% of that billion-dollar industry. But also, I think what differentiates us from everybody else is that we do have that acronym, Tony. When we say realize early, staying healthy always produces energy, we're saying get in front of your best self now. Don't wait till you get sick. Don't wait till something happens. Don't wait till you get some tragic, information or results or whatever. Get in front of it now and start taking care of it. You've been a tremendous inspiration to me, as you know. Being over 50, you look like you're about 20. You work, stay in shape. I look at your videos. And so what we also want to do is share with people that you don't have to be in the gym. You can do everything that you do from home.
Yeah.
You don't have to join the gym. You can get in shape right in the luxury of your living room. And so down the road, man, we want to have some Reshape videos that people can pop in, and we'll have fellas like yourself, man, who are expert in fitness and let you work out under the Reshape brand. And we're going to put out videos and, of course, information on how you reshape, tips on foods and how to prepare them and things. So it's going to be a combination of a lot of things as we talk about Reshape.
Okay, and one more thing I want to touch on. When you talk about juicing with Joe, for people that may not know, you have some professional, doctors with papers to actually be a part of this.
Yeah, I've solicited some medical doctors who are medical doctors, and they're also in the holistic field as well. So they're both MDs and they're holistic. I've got some major people that are going to be coming on with the Juicing with Joe to give me expert advice and give you all expert advice on how this thing works. Again, I'm not saying that anything cures. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
I'm not any of that. All I'm saying that for me, since I've been juicing, and I want to share this real quick because somebody out here may be able to identify with it. Before I started juicing, I used to get these burns up under my feet. It's called myopathy. And about 2:00 every morning, my body would wake up and my feet would be burning. And I'm trying to itch and scratch, but it's not itching. It's just a burning underneath of the nerves. It's just terrible. As a result of the juicing, that myopathy has gone. I don't even have my eyebrows have grown back. So I'm telling you, organic green juice drinking is amazing, my friend. So we're excited about that.
Okay, well, again, guys, I appreciate Joseph for coming on. Joseph, you want to just share your contact information, how people can connect with you and learn a little bit more about Reshape and what you're doing in the health and fitness arena?
Yeah, just go on Instagram, man, and you can hit me at My Reshape Life on Instagram, or you can hit me at Juicing with Joe on Instagram, and you'll learn more information. If you want a copy of the book, Let Average Go to letaveragego.com, and we'll get your book out and teach you how to turn your average into awesome. But just be on the lookout for the movement. It's coming, man. And again, I thank you, Tony, because you're a big part of that. You've been a big part of my own personal inspiration in doing this, man. So I look at your videos a lot, too, when I'm ready to quit. And I look at better than this guy here, so I got to keep going. So we're going to definitely be sharing more about what's going on, man, and I definitely appreciate you having me on your show today.
Yeah, okay. Again, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Joseph, again, I appreciate you, my friend. Listen, guys, this is Tony C. Davis with the Tony C. Davis Show. If you have some valuable content, reach out to me. We'd like to share your content with the world. Joseph, my friend, and you all have a great weekend. God bless. Hey guys, so that's a wrap for another show. I really do appreciate you for joining us today. I hope that you found some value in today's show. And listen, if you have some valuable content to share, reach out to me at thetcdshow@gmail.com, thetcdshow@gmail.com. We'll share your valuable content with the world. Now listen, also you can follow me live on Facebook, where I actually do some live recording. So I appreciate you, my friends. And in the words of my good friend, Mr. Willis Wright, I'll see you at the top or from the top. because the bottom is definitely way too crowded. God bless.